That's probably enough silence, do you think?
Are you sure? I'm trusting you in most of this.
Thanks for the trust. So, what's going on here, Sandy?
Turns out you've just invaded my flat, pulled out some microphones and headphones, and we're just going to sit on the couch and talk for a bit. I think that's the plan.
That sounds excellent. We should come up with a title for this, and maybe post it to the internet under said title.
I think as many as 5 to 10 people would be vaguely interested in it and politely sit through a little bit of it before they were convinced, yay or nay. I think that's not too ambitious of me.
Not too ambitious, but just ambitious enough. 10, good estimate. So you 10 people, thank you. And if this is taken off and there are now several thousand, thank you very much.
Then, well, hey, this is a big day for us. We should crack open a few of those brewskis.
Does anyone say brewski?
I don't know. I've talked to at least 5 Australians. Some of them might have said that back in the 90s. Oh yeah, that's something we should clear up before we begin to talk quite frequently on this. We need some ground rules. Profanity. Okay. Where do we stand on that?
I'm going to say don't.
You're right. Let's use that higher English we pretended to work for. I read some Shakespeare.
I worked for my higher English. I got a tutor and everything.
Nice.
But we'll not complain about my high school English teacher just yet. We'll maybe save that for a later day. Anywho, let's move on to naming this podcast. So I've got a short list here. You've got a short list, and I have far too much overconfidence in my improv abilities. So let's start with you. Right. Well, I've been stewing on this short list for quite a few weeks now. It was originally longer. There's a few rejects I'd like to quickly rule out that we're not going to name it, but I thought were funny. Number 1, the podcasting couch. See. Because we are sitting on a couch. Don't want to break the fourth wall too much. Oh, no. We are sitting down. Maybe when we, break the millions of viewers, we'll eventually switch to a webcam or something, but until then... And maybe a chair each. What's this? We're sharing a microphone right now and you want to talk about the luxury of a chair? Hey man, I can dream, alright? Yeah, you're right. So the podcasting couch, considered next. Also considered was the Vanity Project. Yes. But I thought that was a little bit too real, so we're not going to call it that. Yeah, people might actually start to view us as real human beings. Can't have that. No. Not at all. So that's the honourable mentions. Anyway. See, I too thought of Couchcast, but then I thought that's a good name, so somebody has obviously taken it. Exactly. Anyway. Like I said, far too overconfident in improbabilities. Right, so moving on to the actual shortlist. I think we'll take these one at a time and break them down before moving on to the other one. So, option number 1. Okay. Don't quote me on that. Solid. I plan on saying that many, many times because I don't have any way of fact-checking myself at the moment. And I like that also because I read many internet articles and I'm so filled with a sense of righteous indignation at the world and I will tell people about this, what I've read. However, because it's an internet article, I can't pretend that it isn't any way verifiable or correct. And I and you might well make up our own opinions. I do that from time to time, actually, yes. But not very often. Just because we say them out loud doesn't mean we want credit for some sort of social revolution. Unless you're into that, guys. If you're into that, send us a tweet at whatever the hell we call this. Oh, yeah. We'll get to that by the end. This is exciting. So, don't quote me on that. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a fairly solid beginning. I would say so. Option number 2, Sounds Nice Son. It's funny if you've heard the song already. Right. So for those of you who aren't super into your 2014 albums of dance music, which I'm sure is more than I would expect, but maybe some of you haven't. I mean, out of the original 10 that we're rolling with just now, we have to think percentage-wise. Well, I'm one of them, so that's at least 10% of our audience. Ourselves. Good. That's at least 10% of our audience will get that reference straight off. That's excellent. Anyway, for those of you not familiar, you may have heard of the DJ duo known as Duck Sauce. If you don't know who they are, they've got a song called The Big Bad Wolf, which is currently on an advert for like car insurance or something. Ah. And also famously, they had Barbra Streisand, which is what that title Sounds Nice Son references. Anyway. That is a solid intro to Duck Sauce. I know you've walked me through the album before, but this was when we were sitting in our tent for the Gold Duke of Edinburgh, and I unknowingly had also broken my foot probably by this point. But Sounds Nice comes off of the album version of Barbra Streisand on the album Quack. There we go. I think we've got all the qualification out of the way. So the song finishes, and then there's a kind of a talking section skit at the end. Yeah. And the last thing they say in the song is, Sounds Nice, son. And then it fades into the next track. So. And you're left going, yes. That does sound nice. Yeah. Tempting. Also, we'd like to point out we are in no way sponsored by Duck Sauce or Barbra Streisand or any of their legal entities. Speaking of legal entities and Barbra Streisand, have you heard of the Streisand effect?
Tell me about this, man.
Oh, this is number one of don't quote me on that, because I could be making all of this up. But I have heard this from other sources. The Streisand effect is when you make an effort to get something out of public domain, and as a result it then gets more popular. Named after Barbra Streisand, because when Google Maps went around and started doing Street View, people could see her house, and your house, and my house, and blah, 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 blah. And she didn't like that, so she complained to Google about just such a thing, and then as a direct result of her complaining, people started sharing the image of her house from the street, and did the exact opposite of what she wanted, and she lost that. So it's the art of making something more popular by complaining about it. There you go, but don't quote me on that.
Don't quote me on that. But do feel vaguely intellectually stimulated.
Yeah, you can use that in an argument if you want to. Okay. So, sounds nice, son. Option number 2.
It's option number 2, guys.
Phone in.
We'll have a doodle poll or something on this totally legit Twitter page we're going to make.
How will they find the Twitter page if we don't have a name to shout out, though? We need to sort this out.
We need an IT guy. Maybe after this podcast goes viral, we can, I don't know, hire an intern or something.
That would be excellent.
I wouldn't say no.
I would definitely say yes. Crack right on. You will be paid the sum total of 0.
We will give you stuff from our fridge. I think that's a legal contract right there.
Yeah, I'm sure you can draft something up.
I'm no big say lawyer after all. Don't quote me on that.
Option number 3 is the first and only Gatsby reference that we will be making in this podcast. It is an abbreviation of a quote which I'm sure you recognise, Sandy. You want to read that out?
Within and without, enchanted and repelled. I'm gonna take a stab at the chapter number. I think it's.
I can't fact check you on that. I don't remember. I could
tell 3.
It's
got to be 3.
Okay.
Nick meets Gatsby at 4, right? And this is right before that.
Yes.
Because this is the scene with the house party.
Yes. It's more of a flat party, but you're basically right.
I don't know. They were pretty rich. A flat to them is quite expensive. Anyway, welcome back to the Great Gatsby cast, where we discuss all the movies.
Where we are within and without, enchanted and repelled. I believe it's as Nick summarises the previous chapter of what he'd seen that day in the big city of New York and his new friends. See my air quotes.
Yes, watch out for those guys. We air quotes quite a lot.
So what I've done there is abbreviated the last thing that Caraway says in his summary of that chapter, where he's both within and without his events of his life, and enchanted and repelled by what he has seen. I thought that was fairly interesting.
I could make a stab at quoting it, but I have the feeling that I'm thinking of some lines from the recent movie, which, although nice at various occasions, do somewhat go on a bit of a wander from the original text. And that's fine. That's fine, of course. Just not with Gatsby. just leave it alone. I know it's in the public domain, but that doesn't mean you can just... No.
Is it in the public domain?
It's pretty damn old at this point, right?
Yeah, but I don't really know copyright law terribly well. Do you know copyright law particularly well?
No.
Or shall we slide along to the next
It's one of those classes I should have taken, if I wanted to have a job at any stage. That's right, real talk on the podcast.
Anyway, I sense we could move on to option number 4, guys, on the phone lines.
Oh, it's another reference.
This is where we reference where we live, which is Glasgow, for those of you keeping score at home.
Oh, right, sorry, I read ahead.
So, option number 4, where we betray where we live by saying, alright mate, Sam, which is, of course, a common Scottish welcome in the West Coast.
Maybe for you city folk, of course.
Translating to, hello there friend, how have you been?
To which the colloquial reply would be, no bad mate, no bad, or shope, or...
Alright, that's another solid response.
Thanks, you could clock onto the fact that actually is zero slang. That's right, the Glasgow uni student can't talk.
That's a disaster.
I used to know my roots, now I'm just part of the system. God, I was speaking Latin the other day, can you imagine?
Latin?
Yeah,
Jesus God.
Roman or something like that.
I would ask how that came about, but we've actually got quite a lot to crack on.
Oh, do we?
So, yeah. Option number 5, yet another literary reference, which Sandy was referring to earlier, if I didn't edit it out, which I might have.
Hopefully
I don't know. We'll just truck on. This is from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which I'm sure some of you may be familiar with the film. I know I am. And apparently there was a book as well.
I actually read the book and can recall nothing about it. Actually, I remember one thing from the book, movie. Totally remember this part from the movie and not anything else. It was a part where they were discussing the most powerful gun in the universe, and that if you shot someone with it, it wouldn't kill them or harm them in any way. It would just force them to see from your perspective.
Ooh,
I know, right?
that sounds interesting.
That's some hardcore feels right there. It's a great way to resolve conflict. Anyway, that's science fiction and can no way change anything right now.
But this will be preserved on the internet for all time. So,
oh yeah,
we could be wrong.
If any of the original 10 out there are experimental scientists looking for a project or two,
get into that neuroscience, guys. It's a gold mine.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not a literal gold mine, but an intellectually stimulating gold mine. Anyway, so option number 5 regarding this whole topic is, have the Dolphins left yet? A rather obvious reference, but a
if
good
you've
question.
Seen the first 5 minutes of the movie, of course. None of us have read the book.
Apart from you, but whatever.
I wasn't trying to rub it in. I don't want to be a dick.
Okay, that's fine. So I felt that asking if the Dolphins had left would be a good idea. Because if they have left, there's better things to do than podcasts.
Yeah, but because this is going on the internet, like you said, we can check out on that a few years down the line.
Yeah.
When people are going back, 10 years down the line, they're like, where did this great franchise start? And then we're discussing dolphins. Dolphins, they ask, what's that? They used to live in that thing called an ocean, which we used to have before globalization and politics destroyed our world. That'll make me feel better. That will.
It's actually made me quite nervous for the future.
Oh yeah. The more I think about all the bad stuff going on right now, about how you see the world is going to be basically on fire by 2050, you're sitting there reading the paper and you're going, bugger, I'm probably still going to be alive during that.
Yeah.
It's quite sobering.
Our grandparents never had that problem.
The luxury of going, I'll be dead for that. It's lost on us. We have to sit through all of it.
And try and solve it. Oh, Jesus.
It's like I said, if any of the original 10 out there are experimental scientists, politicians, or in any way want to, save us so we can just continue sitting on our couch podcasting, that'd be great. Appreciate that.
Also, if any of you are currently going through an existential crisis and we've made that worse, sorry about that.
Keep listening though. It's only going to get better. It's all rise from here.
Option number 6 on the phone lines, everybody. Saturday Superhouse. Now, this was a recent discovery by me yesterday when I was looking for handy-dandy podcast names.
Lovely. I knew it was going to reach a stage where the references went over my head.
That's okay.
And I'm glad we've got to it.
Not everyone can get every reference because, your brain is a limited thing and you can only have limited experience. And memory.
Yeah.
Speaking of memory, neuroscientists, get on that. I would love to be able to remember more than I currently do.
I actually know a thing or two about the memory system. I know the word hippocampus. That's a part of your brain that reflects short-term memory to long-term. You want to know how I know that? I don't remember.
It's an unfounded bit of knowledge.
It's totally legit though. I'm very confident in that.
I have heard of the hippocampus, but...
Oh, did you do higher psychology as well? I nailed it. I got it. I knew I had it somewhere.
Excellent. Cite that source. No, I only know it because it's one of those things that occasionally comes up on a quiz, like bits of the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So I've learned that, and I've learned the occipital lobe, also the occipital bone, which are both located just kind of at the back.
Oh yeah.
Just in there.
For all of those watching at home, he gestured to the back of my head.
Kind of below the big bulb at the back, there's a kind of a step in. If you're feeling the back of your head now, when you're driving your car, put your hands back on the wheel. But
face the road, don't be watching this.
Anyway, that's brains. Saturday Superhouse was the main purpose of this.
Oh yes, please do explain this.
Let's get back into Saturday Superhouse. So, Saturday Superhouse is the Biffy Clyro reference that I briefly mentioned yesterday, okay?
Okay,
I'm going to keep running with this. There's a few more music ones that I'm going to have to explain at length. So, this is the second. I'll try and make this one a bit quicker than the Barbra Streisand one.
Sorry, guys.
So, Saturday Superhouse is one of the last tracks on Biffy Clyro's 4th album, Puzzle, which is excellent, by the way, and you should totally get into it.
I'll add it to the list.
It's either the last track, or it's definitely in the back half. I can say that with certainty. It's one of the last few tracks.
Mm.
Anyway, and I would really love to have written down the first line of this song, because that's why I picked Saturday Superhouse. But unfortunately, I left a bit of paper with that written down at home. So I'm going to have to try and remember it off the top of my head.
Actually, we'll turn to our audience here. If any of you do know the first lyric, just tweet us now. We'll wait here.
Or I could try and remember it.
Whichever one gets there first, honestly.
Anyway, so Saturday Superhouse, if you're a fan of the In-Betweeners, you will know the intro, because it's one of those songs that they used in the outro credits. There's a lot of songs that fit that kind of bill, and I've managed to track down quite a few of them, and Saturday Superhouse is one of them.
We've known each other for quite a few years now. You still know I haven't watched an episode of In-Betweeners right yet.
I was really hoping that you would have got around to that by now.
I feel like if you wanted me to do that and you were going to call me on it, send a memo through our Twitter page.
I wasn't calling you on it. I was simply adding in a side fact for people who have maybe paused the podcast, went onto YouTube, typed in Saturday Superhouse, not found our podcast, but instead found the Biffy Clyro song.
That happens. We're
like,
not going to have 100% catch rate.
No.
Our tags aren't that good.
And they'll be like, oh, I kind of recognise these chords. That sounds familiar. Let's get back to the podcast. And then they press play, and I've now explained that it was in the In-Betweeners.
Ah, nice. Cool.
So they won't have that nagging feeling of, what's that from? What's that from? What's that from? Which really, really dents my productivity. I don't know about you.
Link in the description below. If we don't need to do that. It's a podcast, right?
Yeah, I told them to search it. Just
so great.
Be fine.
Oh, while we're here, Biffy Clyro, singer or band? Never quite been sure. Band?
Band, 100%.
What's the lead singer called?
No idea.
Okay. Well, now I know.
He's not called Biffy. His surname is Clyro.
Would have made sense. Well.
I believe they're from Scotland. He said broadly because he knew he'd be right if he said Scotland.
It's okay. You didn't say Britain, so the tennis fans will be very in your camp right now.
Anyway. So Scottish band Biffy Clyro, Saturday Superhouse. The opening line is, and I've even kind of half engineered this so that it works, right? Nice. The opening line, to the best of my memory, is, I'll be sitting on the left side, you'll be sitting on the right, which is how we are currently arranged. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about our problems, make everything all right.
Man, that is clever. That is very clever.
Thank you. I couldn't condense that down into fewer words though, so I just took the title of the song.
I mean, that makes sense, and we don't even really need to tell anyone we recorded this on a Wednesday either. That's fine.
No.
We can edit that out.
We could maybe upload it on a Saturday.
That would...
There's a lot of podcasts come out on a Saturday though, so I don't know about that. This is logistics and is less interesting than the actual title of the podcast. So let's move on.
We need to start talking brass taxes.
Let's move on to another inside joke. Fudge may be made. Option number 7 on the phone lines. Fudge may be made. I essentially remember this one, Sandy.
That's a joke.
So I'm going to take a break from speaking.
Oh, good. Great. My parents will be wondering what I was doing during all of this. That's a joke. They won't be listening. Cast your mind back to mid to late 2000s when you and I were sitting there in the old Vale of Leven Boys Brigade Hall. What's that, you ask? It's a youth club. We do that because we're great guys. Stop asking us questions. And in this hall, which had generations of youth stretching through it, maybe from mid-90s? No, the hall's nowhere near.
I don't know how old the hall is.
I say mid-90s as if that was an old thing, which, because this will be on the internet forever, might well be the case. I meant to say mid-19th century. Mid-20th century, because I don't know dates.
No, it started in the 19th, 18-something or other.
Oh yeah, but the hall can't possibly be that old.
No,
there's electricity.
The hall is nowhere near that old. It's old. I think it might be a 60s hall, just judging by the kind of structure and the layout of it, and how basic and rubbish it is. Like most 60s housing, it's kind of got that prefab vibe to it.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong on that. I'm not an expert. I'm just spitballing the age of the hall for you.
If you know, guys, be sure to tweet us that. We love fact-checking on this show.
If you work for the Western Bartonshire Council.
Or R. Murdoch. That's the guy who owns it, right?
No idea.
Don't quote us on that, guys. So, in this debatably old hall, there were some certainly old technologies, like a TV with a tuner on it. You remember tuners, guys? Oh no, of course you don't, because you're all, I don't know, our age or skewing younger, because that's how the internet works. It was like Netflix, but without the internet and without the limitless possibilities for enjoyment, or Doctor Who. It really just showed the news, and you could maybe watch the radio for it, because TVs were funny like that.
There was a lot of news on old school TVs.
You don't get that on Netflix, do you?
Nope. No, you don't.
So yeah. And on this, the television with the tuner, for no...
Hang on, can I just stop you there?
Absolutely.
When you say tuner, what do you mean?
I don't know. There's a dial, and I wasn't sure on the right word for it, so I stuck with tuner.
I wasn't sure whether you were blanking on cathode ray tube and were calling it a tuner.
Well...
judging by the face you've just made, I think that is the case, but I'll not bust you too much.
Please don't, man. My self-esteem is only going to go lower if this is the case. I don't know how TVs work. Guys.
I'll just gloss over that really quickly. So
don't edit that one out. People always enjoy my disappointment.
So we had an old school TV. For those of you who don't know, an old school TV that's a little bit thicker than your finger. Yeah, that's kind of the going rate for TVs these days. I
wouldn't know. There's none in the flat/studio just now. We can check.
Well, they have the kind of the width of around about a finger or two.
Lengthwise or breadth?
Depth. Right.
You said that. I should have been listening.
But these old cathode ray tube TVs contain within them a kind of fancy light bulb.
Mm-hmm.
He said, simplifying it massively so that he didn't take forever explaining it.
Thanks, bro.
And they were kind of as equally deep as they were wide.
Mm-hmm.
And also tall, because TVs were typically square as well. So imagine a little cube of television without any of the Netflix or the picture quality or any of the things you really love about TV. Although they did have Doctor Who, if you were British and in the 60s.
Nice.
So I'll let you carry on now that I've swooped in and cleared that up.
Oh, sorry, I've been using Doctor Who as an example. It's actually being taken off Netflix quite soon.
Is it?
That's right. Topical, guys. Topical. You can tell I was on Facebook this morning.
Well, I didn't know that. This is news to me.
I was planning to actually go and watch all the Doctor Who's, and now I just miss Peter Capaldi just entirely.
There's no time.
He seems like a cool guy, and I'm sorry about that. I'll probably just not, and I stress not, pirate it. I definitely will not be doing that.
No, pirating is almost immoral.
Almost immoral.
Sometimes.
Don't quote us on that.
I sense we may be biasing the audience with their decision by constantly repeating one of the options over the other ones. So for the sake of balance, let's go back and repeat all of the other ones as well. Option number 2, sounds nice, son. Option number 3, within and without, Enchanted and Repelled. Option number 4, I makes happen. It's got to be said at that speed, really.
Yeah.
I don't know if you understand what I'm saying when I say that, but that is the option.
We can always put subtitles on this, right?
We could try.
Too much work, forget it.
Option number 5, have the Dolphins left yet? Option number 6, Saturday Superhouse.
This one was really clever.
Number 7, Fudge May be made.
We still haven't explained this one.
Still not explained. But it's still option number 7.
Can that be the theme of this? We call it Fudge May be made, and all the audience come in with their own fan suggestions on what to call this.
I don't mind that idea at all.
Moving on to number 8.
Yeah, alright. So, now that we're not going to explain option number 7, option number 8, which is my favourite way of looking at the world, because it's not only a compliment, but it's also an insult. Kind of an anti-compliment, if you will. Okay, here we go. Option number 8 on the phone lines, everybody. Insignificant Star-children. Did you get the insult in there? That's the first word. It's insignificant.
Future lawyer right here.
Future lawyer.
Don't quote me on that.
And the second half is Star-children, which I'll admit this is the most pretentious option on the list.
Is this a David Bowie reference?
No.
Did I say David Bowie right, at least?
You said it well enough for me.
Thanks. I got David right. I'm fairly confident about that. Sorry to Mrs. Bowie out there. This is too soon. I'll move on.
So,
sorry.
This one is not a reference. It's just kind of factually accurate.
Yes, because we're all little pieces of star at the end of the day.
Yep.
That's really nice as a thought, isn't it?
Yeah. Everything round about us that we can see that is not hydrogen or helium, and there's not a lot of that round about us right now.
Lord, don't I know it.
Was cooked in the furnaces of stars.
Which is pretty rad.
Pretty cool.
Mm.
However you phrase it. If you phrase it like I did, pretty cool. But if you take someone who's more into this than I am, for example, Neil deGrasse Tyson, he makes that sound really cool. But second half of this, insignificant, doesn't really matter.
Yeah, just like everything, because life is meaningless.
Yeah, unfortunately.
That's
For those of you out there with your existential crisis, I'm sorry, this is the last one that will
all rise. It's all rise.
Yeah, it's all rise from here. No more existential nonsense.
On a lighter note, we can do that. Speaking of Neil deGrasse Tyson, have you been seeing his Twitter conflict with some kind of rapper?
No.
Some kind of rapper is getting on the Twitter, which we will totally be taking part in. The Twitter, not the intellectually flawed scientific debate. And he's saying that the Earth is round and has gone on very meritocratically to prove this through the use of pictures of a horizon and Microsoft Paint.
Is this the rapper or Neil deGrasse Tyson?
It's Neil deGrasse Tyson. Turns out he was not great at the science.
No.
Really great wrestler though. I found this out.
What?
Neil deGrasse Tyson, when he was in third for education, championship wrestler. In fact, he used a lot of his science to improve his wrestling, or so crack.com tells me. Don't quote me on that. Long story short, the Earth is not flat. That is something we can all take from this discussion.
Long story short, even if it was flat, it would still be made of stars, and it still wouldn't matter.
Because life is meaningless.
It's all up from here, guys. Option number 9. Actually, I may have lied. It might not be all up from here. We've got option number 9. Good ideas, bad memory.
Ooh.
Which I think ties in quite well to our ambition, but also our ability to reflect on things positively and forget the negative.
I certainly don't do that. I'm very negative in my memories. Maybe if more good stuff happened to me. Oh, wait, sorry. I'll rise. Oh. You can edit that. Actually, don't. The awkward silence might make it funnier. I'm not sure. Tweet us either way in your thoughts. We'll get through this, guys. Sorry, you were saying.
I was kind of done. I was just introducing the idea.
Oh, right. And I was just being depressing. So we're both on track for our usual character ploys for this thing then. Great. Good.
Settle in. It's not going to change. That's kind of who we are.
That was a good one. That was quick. I liked it.
Yeah, that was quick.
And we actually explained it, maybe.
I think so.
Good.
Option number 10 is another in-joke, which I really like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's option number 10 on the phone lines, everybody. Buzzwords with synergy.
Brass taxes.
Buzzword number 1.
It's the only one you need, man.
Exactly. So, this in-joke is again stemming from VB experience.
Oh yeah, was this the time we were trying to teach sign language?
No, it's not.
Oh, right. What are you remembering? Oh, hang on.
What are you remembering? I don't remember trying to get buzzwords with synergy across in sign language.
I remember we were using buzzwords and appropriately life-affirming messages.
That's correct, but I don't think we did that with synergy.
I do everything. I do everything with synergy.
That
you might
took us another
that.
6 months to develop.
Ah, yes. Like we were saying, number 9. Good ideas, bad memory. Please jump in here, old sport.
All right, so I'm sensing you've forgotten.
No,
the true origin of
I
this.
remember this now, but
okay, that's fine.
You made the list, so please continue.
I did make the list, but I don't want it to be all me. Anyway.
No, it's fine. There's a lot of me in this so far. It's just all going to be edited out.
That remains to be seen.
It's funny because it's true.
That remains to be seen.
That's fine.
He said supportively, with a look in his eye that says, "You're goddamn right."
Careful listeners might have noticed that.
Anyway, so this one stemmed from what was basically the genesis, to borrow a biblical phrase, of this podcast, which was previously mentioned BB experience over the summer. That's the summer 2015, for those of you keeping score on your calendars.
If you still have calendars in the future now.
They might be using different calendars as well. They might have moved on beyond this. Is it the Gregorian calendar we currently use?
That sounds official, I'll be honest.
Thanks to Pope Gregory for figuring that one out.
Not that we're supporting Christianity, we're very non-biased.
So podcast. Non-biased. But Pope Gregory did make.
He did make a pretty banging calendar.
Oh.
I use it every day.
That's a ringing endorsement, right?
Yeah,
now. This podcast brought to you by the Gregorian calendar. Anyway, we were asked to develop a radio show for 15 minutes. Unfortunately, we can't use any of it because we played music throughout it all, so it will be claimed for copyright. But those of you that were in the room at the time, I'm sure you enjoyed it.
And also because we spent about 10 minutes talking about Robot Wars, which...
we should do that again.
Frankly, never a waste of time.
No, we should do that again. And actually, I've got some quite earth-shattering news for you.
I had the exact same earth-shattering news, which I was saving for this discussion. And you've beaten me to it.
I've not beaten you to it. We arrived at the same time. I just wanted to inform you that it's coming back.
It's totally coming. Robot Wars is coming back. Present listeners.
In 2016, guys.
In Glasgow.
Well, anywhere in Britain, really.
No, the studio is being made in Glasgow.
I just meant it would be broadcast UK-wide.
Oh, yeah, I assumed that everyone knew TV was a thing, even if it's not going to be on Netflix.
You can't make any assumptions.
No.
You've got to start from first principles. But yeah, filmed in Glasgow, we're talking 6 episodes, we're talking 60-minute runtime.
Oh, 60-minute runtime.
That's 6 hours of Robot Wars coming this year. I'm so excited.
Imagine, when was the last Robot Wars aired?
Oh, I did know this.
Early 2000s, maybe?
I'm going to say around about mid-2000s.
It definitely was not 2005.
It rumbled on for a long time. The series was bought by Channel 5, who continued to show it for a few more years. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot, allegedly, from this.
Anyway, I think that was like It had a really, really like long title. It was like Robot Wars Extreme War or something like that.
Ah,
Anyway,
we should put extreme at the end of our title when we choose it. That'll be better.
Buzzwords with Synergy Extreme. Maybe that could work. Anyway,
Don't quote me on that. Extreme.
so let's explain this one and move on to the next one. The radio program, which we discussed Robot Wars in, and then discussed it again now, discussing the radio show.
Okay.
Anyway,
Synergy.
Yes,
Like
that's what this
man.
is all about.
Like I said, man, I do everything with synergy.
Synergy. Anyway, so we were developing what we were going to talk about in this 15-minute radio show, and we decided that would be our overarching theme.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did was we wrote down Buzzwords with Synergy on a big page of A3.
A lot of it was related. I was going through a phase at the time.
Yeah, you were really, really down.
It was all rise, guys.
All rise. All rise. Sandy made it out of that cone of depression.
I did, unlike...
I'm definitely...
Edit
I am editing that one out. That one's so bad. Oh my god.
Oh.
I realised as soon as I finished saying cone of depression that the opportunity... Oh my god. Right, let's just gloss right over that. We'll leave a pause. Okay, that didn't happen.
we definitely can't use that.
No, that's gone.
Nope.
That's gone.
How far back are we cutting? Do we erase any mention of or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, I'm just going to start the whole explanation again because I can't even remember where I got to.
Oh no.
Anyway, so we were asked to develop a 15-minute radio show as part of our BB training course.
Do we still have the Robot Wars discussion?
Yeah, I'll keep the Robot Wars.
Yeah, that's good.
So for part of that, we had to figure out things to talk about. We had to play at least one song. We picked Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody because it's a classic.
Classic. It's also like 7 minutes long.
Which was great because we didn't know how good we would be at talking non-stop, but turns out we're pretty f***ing good. Anyway, so we had
to be there.
We had the song, we had to do the news, which was covered by me, and then we had to work out some topics to fill up the remaining time.
There was also a triangle there for some reason. I think I found a triangle and decided to roll with it.
Yeah, that sounded amusing at the time.
Sounds amusing now because that was a sheep pun, which is impractical. Cut that out. Okay.
It's alright, man. Rough start.
Rough
and
start.
I'll improve.
Not the last time I'll be saying that. No.
Oh, Jesus.
Ooh, it's a rough patch.
Can I please explain this one and we'll just gloss over
Yep.
Okay. Song, news, remaining topics to fill up the rest of the time. Now, we couldn't quite figure out what else to talk about, so we thought we'd pick out a whole bunch of buzzwords which had some sort of synergy which would allow the whole thing to flow as a semi-natural conversation on the radio, but not really on the radio, but we'll not get into that right now. So that was our overarching theme, and from that we came up with, correct me if I'm wrong, Robot Wars, Craig Charles, The Hobbit.
Yeah, The Hobbit was discussed.
And
at length.
And
a lot of issues to work through there. Sorry.
What else did we talk?
We talked about Pokemon.
Briefly, yes.
We talked about their starters and the mega evolution of Slowpoke.
Oh, I think you're getting the radio broadcast confused
with our Rebel podcast.
Rebel podcast, which we will call episode 0 and probably release much, much later on. So anyway, Buzzwords with Synergy is basically the origin of podcasting with myself and yourself. I've actually just noticed we didn't introduce ourselves. We kind of did a cold open, but that's okay. We'll move on.
It's fine. We can pretend that was edited out.
No, we'll just do a cold open. It's fine. That's an official style, and that's the style.
I like it. Mystery. Like who are these guys?
Who's all right.
If they're listening carefully, they can guess my surname.
That's true. Although I may edit that out just for privacy reasons.
Oh, of course. And also, they know that we've at least been to Glasgow at some point.
And that we're part of TV.
They know I go to Glasgow University as well. A clever killer could find the studio right now. We should get a lock or something.
Definitely.
Put that above.
You've definitely given them a radius.
Put that above second chair in terms of our budget list.
Agreed. Let's move on to option number 11 and try and forget about the massive, massive farce that was option number 10.
Not a great time to forget about the comments.
No, definitely don't be doing that again.
No.
So, option number 11 is what I yell at traffic.
Ooh.
Which I really like.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because it kind of works. Things that you can yell at traffic. I'm sure you could yell most of this podcast at traffic. Traffic wouldn't care. I wouldn't care.
Neil deGrasse Tyson was a professional wrestler.
I would yell that at traffic.
You're an insignificant star child.
Whoa.
Watch our podcast.
So, what I yell at traffic is also partly... Oh dear, I'm going to give more personal information away here.
We could bleep that. Do we have a bleeper?
We'll try.
It
does have a beep, but you can't do it live. You have to do it post.
That's fine. That's
okay.
not my
There's
problem.
see effect.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can put in.
What kind of other crazy effects do we have there?
We'll do that another time.
Oh, we should leave some blank space here so we can just show. Nah, that wouldn't actually be very funny, would it?
Probably not.
Nah, we'll just leave the blank space. That'd be
totally
awkward.
Let's hope that my explanation of number 11 is funnier than that was. Not making any promises.
Like you said, we can dream.
So, that's partially inspired by the motorway which you live near. I think that's big enough. Yeah. I sense this is news to you, judging by the fact you've just stood up.
Oh yeah, actually.
Yeah, it's like 5 minutes away from here. Oh, Jesus, I've narrowed the radius even more. Oh, no. So, we're looking for a Glaswegian motorway, and he lives 5 minutes away from it, okay?
Oh, no.
So we've now got a corridor where you could possibly live.
And we probably mentioned flat at some point.
Yeah.
Oh.
I really hope this is popular.
I'm out, sorry.
Alright, so I'll be taking over while Sandy finds himself a new place to live. He's actually left the room. He really committed to this joke. Oh! Alright.
Sorry, man. Once I left, I thought we'll stick around for a few seconds, and then I realised I really needed to use the bathroom. I thought that's taken the realms of funny into unprofessional, which is something we really want to save for Navy Podcast 3.
Let's not commit to anything just now.
No.
So, I think I explained 11.
Yeah, I heard that.
There's some traffic nearby, and sometimes you can go shout at it. Why not?
As a pedestrian and former cyclist, I have done this.
As a pedestrian, former cyclist, and motorist,
that's the full trinity.
Shouting at traffic is actually a great way to get around.
Relieve stress. It informs drivers of their lacking techniques, which that kind of sense.
Unless you know how your voice sounds when you're angry as well.
Yeah, that's actually something you need to know. Exactly. You never want to be caught up in a situation of rage and have no previous experience of that.
Exactly. If you get angry and then sound like, let's say, some sort of chipmunk, then you're going to want to avoid talking angrily.
Yeah,
you're not going to get your point across. Anyway, let's move on to number 12. Number 12 is another movie reference, and I doubt you'll get this one as well.
Nope, not pulling my weight on this podcast.
That's okay. It's also really, really long in terms of word length. So I'm not too sure how I feel about this, but it does give me an opportunity to talk about one of my favourite comedies of a couple of years ago.
Why don't you shout it at traffic first? See how it sounds.
Alright.
And then go with that.
Let's do that.
Not
option number. I'm going to go with this. I'm going with this. Option number 12. Hey, straight edge, take the gun out of this one's hand. That's the option, everybody. Hopefully that wasn't too loud.
If anyone understands this, they could tweet it to me.
It's fine, I'll explain it right now.
That's excellent. That is much more convenient for both myself and the audience.
That is my favourite quote from Melissa McCarthy comedy The Heat, which has definitely been on in the background while I've been in your presence, but I don't know how closely you were watching it. And
this was the time we weren't doing any of that paperwork for that thing we should have done 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, whatever.
Good times.
Whatever. So, at one particular point, there's an interrogation, trying not to spoil the movie here. And,
for all of you Melissa McCarthy fans listening out there.
For all of you Melissa McCarthy fans.
Sorry, that was condescension. That's bad.
Do you not like Melissa McCarthy?
I've been underwhelmed by her movies, but I'm aware that she's a very popular actress, so
yeah,
I'm not gonna be hating on her because that's rude. I don't want that.
Personally, I quite enjoy The Heat. It's definitely up there.
If we're gonna discuss this, it was better than that other one she's in. She's been in quite a few.
She's been in quite a few.
I've watched two. The one Spy.
I haven't seen Spy.
I enjoyed Jason Statham's character in that very greatly, and Peter Serafinovich, Darth Maul was in that movie. Peter Serafinovich owned that movie, even though he had very little screen time to impact ratio, which is great because that's kind of his thing.
If you say so. I haven't seen the movie, but anyway, that's a quote from the interrogation.
You haven't seen The Phantom Menace?
No, I meant Spy.
Oh, right, cool.
Yeah, we'll not talk about Star Wars now.
Both of us were equally alarmed there.
That could take another hour. There's an interrogation.
Mm-hmm.
You want the information, but there's rules.
But
I don't know if most of you are familiar with the type of character Melissa McCarthy plays. She doesn't really have any rules, so she pulls a gun on him.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite funny if you watch the movie, but out of context, I'm not sure it really works. Yeah, Option 12. I'm not a big fan of option 12.
It's okay, man. It's okay.
I'll state that right out. I just wanted to talk about the heat.
And it made me feel better.
And
actually.
I did. So, option number 13, the final option, unless you come up with some off the top of your head.
You know me. I'm not the ideas guy.
We'll take that as it may. Option number 13, once again alluding to where we live and our cliches.
What?
Yes, the cliches of where we are and our nationality. Option number 13, catch that haggis. Catch that haggis.
Sorry, I was briefly amused by thinking about the old TV show Catch the Pigeon.
Tell me more.
I was. You ever watched the TV show The Wacky Races?
Yes.
It was the dog and the evil guy from that, the one with the mustache.
Dick Dastardly.
Spot on, man. Spot on.
I told you I'd watch it. I don't remember any pigeon races though.
Oh no, this was a side show where I think they're in World War One and they're aerial aces, pun intended. That's not pun. That's just no. The fact is, it was wrong. They were not aces.
Even better.
Their mission was to catch a messenger pigeon, which regularly evaded them. So it was like Wile E. Coyote and the other one.
Yeah.
But in World War One, and it was somehow a kids' movie.
That actually sounds really enjoyable.
Yeah, it had a pretty amusing theme where the singer would just repeat the phrase catch the pigeon," at varying tempos and volumes.
We could do that if we decide to call this Catch That Haggis.
That would be amusing.
Yeah.
If I
I'm now imagining in my head us chasing a flying haggis.
Yeah, so if
the rare winged haggis, for those of you who are not aware of haggis, is the rarest of all species of haggis, and it's also the tastiest, which is why it's the rarest. Doesn't produce eggs though. Very strange creature, the haggis.
I've lost a lot of good friends to wild haggis.
Oh. And that's all the options.
That's all of them. That was.
So, do you have any favourites from that list, or would you like a quick recap?
I would love a quick recap, honestly.
A quick recap. Okay, option number 1, which I'm sure you already know because it's the one we keep saying. Don't quote me on that. Option number 2, Sounds Like Sun. Option number 3, Within and Without, Enchanted and Repelled. Option number 4, Anyway Sound. Option number 5, Have the Dolphins left yet? Option number 6, Saturday Superhouse.
Yes, this one was clever.
There's a lot of sibilance in that, which I'm not too keen on.
This podcast is going to be so good for our enunciation.
Maybe. Depends what I leave in and depends what I edit out.
You're going to be editing an awful lot out of this.
Option number 7, the mysterious Fudge May be made. Option number 8, the anti-compliment, Insignificant Star-children. That's all up from here, guys. Option number 9, Good Ideas, Bad Memory. Option number 10, I feel like I'm reading out the charts in the wrong order.
So we're basically top of the pops, but without, the talent, the talent.
And the music, because music would be copywritten. And
we're working on that with Catch the Haggis.
True.
Or we just let our fan base do that. They take our audio clips and then edit it. That'd be pretty cool. Work on that, guys. If
you want. Anyway, option number 10, Buzzwords with Synergy, the origin of this whole podcast. Number 11, What I Yell at Traffic, which, we'd kind of not say, it'd just be the name of it. Option number 12, the exceedingly long and quite unpopular in my opinion, Hey Straight Edge, take the gun out of this one's hand.
It's just too long, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't want to be the negative guy in this.
No, we need to start making decisions. Yeah, and that's the first one out.
We've called one of the 13. That's good.
And option number 13, Catch That Haggis. Or Catch the Haggis. Don't know, we could argue about specifics if you'd like.
I'm picturing Catch the Haggis in my mind.
I'm picturing all of them because I've been sitting on this list for ages and I like all of them. That's the whole point.
Except 12.
Apart from number 12, which is too long, and I will now mark with a bullet point, if I can find it on my phone keyboard, for those of you wondering what our creative process is.
That's how it works. It's all technology these days.
Boom. It's kind of like a little mine symbol.
Oh, yeah.
See that?
Anyway, audience, this is looking pretty official from where I'm sitting right now.
Sure is a list of 12 podcast names.
Oh.
Right. So any more that you definitely don't like?
Because
I'm going to call number 4 right now. Alright, maybe it's him. I just don't feel like that's my dialect anymore. It's weird to say.
I can't keep that up. People are going to notice we're faking. And if you lose legitimacy in the podcast game, you lose everything.
Couldn't have said it better.
Yeah.
So, you got any other ones that you want rid of?
Right now, for me, I'm gonna go for 2 right now that I think.
Yep, Cole, go.
No, these were my pick.
Oh, your picks. I like it. I'm going the other way with it.
I've actually forgotten which one. I know I had 2.
We'll say the other one. I hope you remember the second one.
My number 1 pick for this, don't quote me on this by the way, was Don't Quote Me on That. And now I remember, I actually quite like Saturday Superhouse. It's clever.
Right. Thank you. I'm glad
I was able
to find that yesterday.
I'm very pro Fudge May Be Made.
Oh,
as long as we don't explain that.
I quite like the mystique of Fudge May Be Made, so I'm going to mark that one as well for the shortlist. So.
And then the Twitter feed's been quite quiet so far. The audience has been less than helpful. We're going to need a community manager or something to keep them involved, up to date on what's going on. Maybe we should have told them we were recording today, actually.
We could have had another audience. Because it worked so well the first time.
Oh.
Other ones I quite like that you've not mentioned.
Sorry, bro.
I quite like Catch That Haggis, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to mark that one
for
the shortlist. So you're happy with it not being option number 2, Sounds Nice Son?
I mean, don't get me wrong, that can be a soundbite that we include every so often.
Yeah, I'm not saying that
if copyright isn't going to be a thing.
These will not be forgotten. These may well make it back in the form of segments.
Callback jokes, I love those. They're the only kind I know.
So option 2, Sounds Nice Son, that's gone. Option number 3,
Cancelled.
Within and Without, Enchanted and Repelled.
Gatsby will still be coming back for guys.
We will mention Gatsby, but it won't be the title. Option number 4, I don't know what's happening. It's just weird to say.
It gives people too much information. I don't like it.
Yeah. Option number 5, Have the Dolphins Left Yet? I quite liked it, but not as much as the rest. Option number 8.
They're all great ideas, man.
Thank you. Option number 8, Insignificant Star-children. I said it was a bit pretentious, and I still think it is a bit pretentious.
I go to Glasgow Union and I felt offended by that.
Yeah. I like the message.
Yeah, it's a great message.
I like the message.
I like thinking about Bill Nye. Nope, wrong scientist.
That's fine, he's sometimes on Star Talk as well.
Great, good.
I love Bill Nye. Anyway, so number 8 didn't make the cut. Number 9, Good Ideas, Bad Memory, didn't make the cut. Buzzwords with Synergy, the origin of this whole podcast. Possibly a front runner when I read the list out recently.
Not good enough.
Recently, is gone.
Gone.
Number 11, What I Yell at Traffic.
Cut it.
Just didn't make
Cut
it. Hey, Straight Edge, it's just too long. I've already abbreviated that.
I'm not a fan of Melissa McCarthy, honestly. That was a bold choice.
That's how long it's gone on for. So those are all gone. So we're left with Don't Quote Me on That, which we've said more than anything else in this current podcast. Saturday Superhouse, which you've confessed that you really like. Number 7, the mysterious Fudge May Be Made. And number 13, Catch That Haggis. This is where we would put it to a phone vote if we were on TV, but we're not, so we need to keep going.
As much as I like the idea of alluding to Fudge May Be Made for the rest of the series and never explaining it,
we could still do that. We could still do that.
I think it would be better if we just never talk about it again.
It's out of the running. Now, I know you really like Saturday Superhouse, and so do I, but the whole problem is it's got the exact same name as why it's a good name.
Plus,
it's not the first.
If people go and search Saturday Superhouse,
they're going to find that.
Some of them, maybe like 20%, are going to go at Biffy Clyro.
Yeah.
And we can't afford to lose 20% at this point.
No.
I mean,
that's a conservative estimate. It could be as high as 100%. You know, we might not be on until the 3rd page of Google.
Is Biffy Clyro that popular?
I don't know. I'm just saying. There's a lot of websites out there that specialize in lyrics. So the first one would be the YouTube link, and then the YouTube lyric video, and then the less successful YouTube link video with spelling errors. The 3rd one with the spelling mistakes, and then lyrics and analysis, lyrics, Facebook page. You've got the ones which are just the full album on YouTube. Oh, I mean that's okay if you want the full album. That's convenient. And the money goes to Biffy Clyro, not the person that uploaded it, because if it doesn't go to Biffy Clyro, then technically that's copyright fraud, and we're not about that. So that's gone. We've narrowed it down to 2. We're doing well. Wait, where was it? Oh, yes, of course. We've now narrowed it down to 2. So we've got, but don't quote me on that. And Catch That Haggis. Don't quote me on that, but Catch the Haggis needs to be cut. Is that right? I'm sorry. Okay. I respect your opinion and don't disagree. I mean, you are the editor, so ultimately my decision is going to be largely based on trust. It can be mooted. Once I step away from this couch, you have all the power.
and I could come back to a vastly different podcast.
That is correct. Now, I'm going to take Catch That Haggis to be the second choice.
Okay.
If, don't quote me on that, already exists in some capacity.
Okay, that seems cool.
Right? I doubt Catch That Haggis will be taken, so we won't iron out a third one.
Nah.
If we did go with a third pick, you already knew that for the whole thing. You, listener, knew the answer. You knew we were going to arrive at that the whole time. Don't quote me on that.
Just edit it all out.
There were so many clues. We kept saying it. It was becoming obvious by the time we were halfway through the list.
This wasn't even a debate.
Not really.
This was fluff. It's all fluff, this cast.
Ah, the fluff cast. No. I know I hold all the power, but I'm not going to miraculously change it to the fluff cast.
That would offend
Even
me.
though I just did a good read of it on purpose. Well, I think we did it.
Yeah. Let's have a meaningful handshake. Is the microphone recording this? Should we shake harder?
We should shake closer.
No,
that worked.
Well, what a good note to end on, eh?
I agree.
So, what did we decide on again?